The continents have not yet found their places. The oceans are warmer or colder or gone entirely, and the life that fills this world is nothing like our own. Tonight, we witness the vanished world of the Amazon before the rainforest existed. Let the ages dissolve around you. Sink gently into your pillow. The modern world can wait until morning. Let your eyelids grow pleasantly heavy. This is Forgotten Habitats. Let us begin. Close your eyes and let the weight of the present day slowly drift away. Imagine the air around you growing heavy and warm and thick with the scent of ancient earth. You are standing on the edge of a world that has long since vanished, a landscape of water and light that existed 13 million years ago. This is not the dense, tangled rainforest of the modern Amazon. Instead, it is the Pebos system, a vast, shimmering mosaic of lakes and swamps and slow-moving rivers that stretch toward every horizon. The sun is beginning its long, slow descent behind the rising peaks of the young Andes Mountains to the west. The sky is a deep, bruised purple, fading into a hazy gold where the heat of the day still lingers. Beneath your feet, the ground is soft and yielding, composed of rich gray clay and the remains of countless generations of life. You can hear the rhythmic lap of water against the shore, a sound that has echoed through these wetlands for millions of years. In the shallows, a gentle ripple breaks the surface of the dark water. A giant turtle, known as stupendemis, slowly lifts its head to take a final breath of the evening air. Its shell is vast, nearly 11 feet across, scarred by the passing of decades, and the occasional brush with a predator. The turtle moves with a deliberate, unhurried grace, its ancient eyes reflecting the fading light before it sinks back into the cool embrace of the mud. The air carries the faint, metallic tang of minerals washed down from the mountains, mixed with the sweet, heavy perfume of rotting vegetation. It is the smell of a world in a constant state of rebirth, where the boundary between land and water is never quite certain. You feel a soft breeze cooling your skin, carrying the distant, low-frequency hum of insects that have no names in our modern tongue. To your left, a stand of tall, palm-like trees rustles softly in the evening wind. These are early relatives of the modern flora, but they stand in a landscape that is far more open and airy than the jungle we know today. Ferns and aquatic grasses carpet the banks, their fronds dipping into the water as if drinking in the coming night. Everything here is oversized and ancient and perfectly still. Out in the deeper channels, the water is as smooth as glass, reflecting the first stars as they begin to pierce the violet canopy. But beneath that surface, life is stirring in the shadows. A massive shape, nearly 40 feet long, glides through the reeds with barely a sound. This is Purussaurus, the king of this watery realm, a crocodilian of such immense proportions that its very presence seems to quiet the world around it. It does not hunt with haste, but with a patient, crushing power. You see only the ridges of its back and the tip of its snout, moving like a fallen log through the darkening water. The Purussaurus is a remnant of a time when the earth was warm and the wetlands were endless. Its breath is a low, guttural hiss that vibrates in the humid air, a sound that settles deep in your chest. Across the lagoon, a group of strange hoofed mammals, called Astropotherium, gather at the water's edge. They are bizarre creatures with short trunks and tusks, resembling a cross between an elephant and a tapir. They move with a heavy, swaying gait, their feet sinking deep into the silt as they lean down to drink. The sound of their lapping is rhythmic and soothing, a steady pulse in the quiet of the dusk. The water they drink is tea-colored, stained dark by the tannins of fallen leaves and ancient wood. It is rich with life, from microscopic organisms to the giant freshwater mollusks that litter the lakebed. You can hear the faint snapping sound of shells being crushed, somewhere in the distance, a reminder of the endless cycle of the ecosystem. But here in this moment there is only peace and the slow passage of time. As the light fades further, the colors of the world shift from gold and purple to deep indigos and charcoal grays. The mist begins to rise from the surface of the lakes, curling around the trunks of the trees like a ghost. It is a thick, cool fog that muffles the sounds of the night, wrapping the landscape in a soft velvet blanket. You feel yourself sinking deeper into the stillness of the Miocene. In the reeds, a small bird, an ancestor of the Hoatzin, shifts on its branch, its feathers rustling with a dry, papery sound. It utters a low, croaking call that is answered by another, far across the water. These are the voices of a world that is still finding its shape, a world where the mountains are still growing and the sea is still retreating. Every sound is a thread in the vast tapestry of deep time. You notice the way the light catches on the wet scales of a lungfish as it flops briefly in the mud. The creature is a living fossil, even in this era, a bridge between the water and the land. Its movements are slow and rhythmic, matching the slow pulse of your own breathing. The world of the Pebus is a world of transitions, of slow, inevitable change that takes place over millions of years. The ground beneath you feels solid and ancient, a foundation of rock and silt that has seen the rise and fall of countless species. You can feel the faint tremor of the earth as the Andes continue their slow tectonic climb, miles and miles away. It is a reminder that the world is never truly still, but always moving, always evolving, in a dance that is too slow for the human mind to grasp. A giant sloth, the size of a modern bear, wanders out from the tree line, its long claws clicking softly against the stones. It moves with a languid, heavy grace, browsing on the low-hanging branches of a fruiting tree. The scent of overripe fruit, sweet and fermenting, fills the air as the sloth feeds. It is a peaceful sight, a moment of quiet contentment in the heart of the ancient wetland. The stars are brighter here than you have ever seen them, unpolluted by the fires of the future. They cast a silver glow over the water, turning the lakes into mirrors of the cosmos. You can see the Milky Way stretching across the sky, a river of light that mirrors the rivers of the earth below. The vastness of the universe feels close enough to touch as you stand in the silence of the Miocene night. You watch as a school of prehistoric catfish, each as long as a man, swims through the clear water of a spring. Their whiskers brush against the sandy bottom, stirring up small clouds of silt that dance in the moonlight. The water is cool and inviting, a sanctuary for life in all its strange and beautiful forms. You feel a sense of belonging, a connection to the long, unbroken chain of existence. The night air is filled with the sound of 1,000 frogs, their voices blending into a single droning chorus. It is a sound that is both alien and familiar, a lullaby that has played since the beginning of time. The rhythm of the chorus is steady and hypnotic, drawing you deeper into a state of profound relaxation. The world is at rest, and you are a part of its quiet dreaming. Far off, the silhouette of a Granostrapatherium, the largest of its kind, stands motionless against the horizon. It is a sentinel of the wetlands, a giant that fears nothing in this ancient world. Its presence is a testament to the richness of the Pebas, a place where life could grow to such magnificent and strange proportions. The giant breathes out, a long, slow sigh that seems to echo the stillness of the night. The mist is now so thick that the edges of the world begin to blur. The trees, the water, and the creatures all become one in the soft grey light. You are no longer an observer, but a part of the landscape, a single breath in the lungs of the earth. The weight of the millions of years is not a burden but a comfort, a reminder of the enduring and persistent nature of life. As the first act of the night draws to a close, you find yourself standing on a high bank overlooking the junction of two great rivers. The water here is turbulent but quiet, a deep, swirling eddy that carries the stories of the mountains to the sea. You watch as the moonlight dances on the swirling surface, and you prepare to follow the water deeper into the heart of this vanished world. The water carries you now, drifting south into the labyrinth of the flooded forest. Here the trees do not stand on dry earth, but rise from the dark tannin-stained depths of the great Pebas Sea. Their roots are like twisted fingers, reaching down into the silt, anchoring them against the slow, insistent pull of the current. The air is cooler here, beneath the canopy, and smells of wet bark and crushed leaves. You can hear the rhythmic drip of condensation, falling from the waxy leaves of giant bromeliads. Each drop creates a tiny ripple on the glass-like surface of the water, a fleeting circle that vanishes as quickly as it began. Deep within the shadows of a hollowed trunk, a pair of eyes reflects the moonlight. It is a Purussaurus, the king of these ancient waters, resting in the stillness. Its body is 13 meters long, a massive weight of muscle and scale hidden just beneath the surface. It does not move, its breathing so slow that the water barely ripples against its snout. There is no hunger in its stillness, only the quiet patience of a creature that has outlasted the turning of the ages. You drift past, a silent witness to its power, feeling the low vibration of its resting heart humming through the water. The forest opens up into a vast expanse of floating meadows. These are not islands of soil, but thick mats of grass and aquatic plants drifting across the face of the wetland. They are worlds unto themselves, carrying small lizards and heavy-bodied insects across the deep. The grass is tall and silvered by the moon, swaying in a wind that you cannot feel. Beneath these mats, the water is a nursery for 1,000 species of fish, their silver scales flashing like underwater stars. The ecosystem is layered, a vertical world of life, stacked from the muddy bottom to the highest leaves. You find yourself drawn toward a bank of soft clay where the giant turtles, the stupendemies, have come to rest. Their shells are vast, like smooth, rounded boulders 3 meters across, scarred by the passage of many decades. They lie motionless, their heavy heads tucked into the folds of their necks, dreaming of the deep currents. The sand around them is cool and damp, holding the heat of the day like a fading memory. In the silence, you can hear the rasping sound of their slow, deliberate breath, a sound that has echoed across these plains for millions of years. Above you, the canopy is alive with the subtle movements of the early primates. The Acrisibus, small and agile, move through the branches like ghosts in the moonlight. They are the ancestors of the monkeys that will one day fill the rainforest with song. For now they are quiet, huddling together for warmth in the crooks of the trees. Their large eyes catch the light, watching the world below with a curious and ancient intelligence. They are a reminder that even in this world of giants, there is a place for the small and the nimble. The air begins to hum with the sound of wings as a swarm of Miocene dragonflies drifts over the water. Their wings are iridescent, catching the moonlight like shards of broken glass. They move with a precision that is almost mechanical, darting and hovering in the still air. They are hunters of the night, seeking out the smaller insects that dance above the reeds. The sound of their flight is a low, hypnotic drone, a vibration that you feel in your very bones. It is the sound of life persisting in its most delicate and beautiful form. You drift further where the water becomes shallow and the ground is covered in a carpet of ancient ferns. Here the Purussaurus, a strange duck-billed caiman, sits with its mouth wide open. It is not an act of aggression, but a way to filter the tiny organisms from the water. Its jaws are wide and flat, lined with thousands of small teeth that act like a sieve. It is a peaceful giant, a specialist in a world that rewards the unique and the strange. The moonlight catches the moisture on its skin, making it shine like polished obsidian. The world here feels older, more primordial, as if the very air is thick with the history of the earth. You can feel the weight of the atmosphere, a warm, humid embrace that lulls you into a state of deep tranquility. The distant call of a Miocene ancestor echoes through the trees, a harsh, guttural sound that feels like a voice from another world. It is a reminder that you are a visitor in a time that has long since passed into the stone. The river bends, revealing a grove of giant palms, their fronds heavy with fruit. The scent is sweet and intoxicating, drawing in the smaller mammals of the night. You watch as a group of prototupis, squirrel-like creatures, scurry among the branches, their movements quick and nervous. They are the busy workers of the Miocene forest, dispersing the seeds that will grow into the giants of tomorrow. Their tiny paws make a soft, scratching sound against the bark, a gentle rhythm that blends into the night. In the distance, the silhouette of the rising Andes is visible against the stars. They are not yet the towering peaks of the modern world, but a growing spine of rock and fire. Their presence is felt in the way the wind moves and the way the rivers flow. They are the architects of this changing landscape, the force that will eventually turn this inland sea into a vast green forest. For now they are just a promise, a dark shape on the horizon, watching over the world. You reach a quiet lagoon, where the water is so still it looks like a sheet of black glass. The only movement is the slow, graceful rise of a lungfish coming to the surface for a breath of air. It breaks the surface with a soft splash and then sinks back into the depths. The ripples spread out, touching the edges of the lagoon, where the bioluminescent fungi glow with a soft green light. The light is faint but beautiful, a natural neon that illuminates the decaying wood of the forest floor. It is a world of soft colors and muted sounds, a place where the senses are gently overwhelmed. You feel a deep sense of peace, as if the forest itself is breathing with you. The rhythm of the night is slow and steady, a heartbeat that has not changed in 12 million years. You are drifting, not just through space, but through time, a passenger on a journey that has no beginning and no end. The water is your guide, carrying you deeper into the heart of the ancient Amazon. The mist begins to rise from the surface of the lagoon, a white veil that obscures the world. It is cool against your skin, a refreshing touch. In the humid night, you can hear the sound of a distant waterfall, a low, constant rumble that vibrates through the earth. It is the sound of the mountains speaking to the sea, a conversation that has lasted for eons. You follow the sound, drifting toward the source, as the world becomes a blur of white and grey. As you move, you pass by a stand of giant horsetails, their segmented stems reaching toward the sky. They are relics of an even older world, survivors that have found a home in the Miocene wetlands. Their leaves are fine and feathery, catching the mist and turning it into droplets of liquid silver. The sound of the wind passing through their stems is like a soft whistle, a mournful song for the ages that have gone. You feel a sense of reverence for these ancient plants that have stood witness to the rise and fall of so many dynasties. The water begins to pick up speed as you leave the lagoon and enter a narrow channel. The trees here are taller, their branches interlocking to form a dark tunnel. The light of the moon struggles to penetrate the canopy, creating patches of light and shadow on the water. You can hear the sound of small creatures moving in the undergrowth, a rustle of leaves and a snap of a twig. It is the sound of life, hidden and secret, going about its business in the safety of the darkness. You are close now to the heart of the great basin, where the water from 1,000 streams comes together. The air is thick with the sound of the forest, a symphony of frogs, insects, and the distant calls of the giants. It is a sound that is both chaotic and harmonious, a perfect balance of life and death. You feel a sense of wonder at the complexity of this world, a place where every creature has its part to play in the great dance of existence. The channel opens up into a wide bay where the water is deep and blue. You can see the stars reflected in the surface, a mirror of the heavens that stretches out as far as the eye can see. The world is vast and you are small, a tiny speck in the grand design of time. But you are not alone, for the forest is all around you, a living, breathing entity that holds you in its arms. You feel the weight of your eyelids growing heavy as the rhythm of the water lulls you toward a deeper rest. The journey continues as the current leads you toward the great delta where the secrets of the mountains are finally revealed to the sea. The limestone walls rise up from the water like the bones of the earth itself. They are pale and smooth, carved by the patient hands of the river over millions of years. In the soft light of the moon, the stone glows with a ghostly radiance, casting long, dancing shadows across the surface of the bay. You drift closer to the base of these ancient cliffs, where the water is still and deep. The air here is cooler, held in the shadow of the stone, and it carries the faint, metallic scent of minerals leaching from the rock. On a narrow ledge just above the waterline, a giant rests. This is Purussaurus, a king of the Miocene waters. Its body as long as a fallen tree, it is a creature of immense power, yet here in the stillness of the night, it is a statue of scales and muscle. You can see the slow, steady rise and fall of its massive chest, a rhythmic movement that speaks of a deep and undisturbed slumber. Its skin is dark and pebbled, reflecting the moonlight in 1,000 tiny points of silver light. The water ripples gently against the ledge, a soft, rhythmic lapping that seems to sync with the breathing of the great predator. As you move past the cliffs, the bay begins to narrow, and the water becomes crowded with floating islands of vegetation. These are the floating meadows, vast mats of grasses and aquatic plants that drift with the current. They are a world unto themselves, a shifting landscape that provides a home for countless small creatures. You can hear the soft rustling sound of the grass rubbing against itself, a dry whispering noise that contrasts with the liquid sounds of the river. The air is filled with the sweet, heavy scent of decaying plants, a rich, earthy aroma that is the smell of life renewing itself. Beneath the surface of the floating meadows, a different world exists. Tangled roots reach down, like the fingers of a submerged forest, providing shelter for schools of small silver fish. You can see them darting through the shadows, their scales catching the light like flashes of lightning in a dark sky. A giant turtle, Stupendomes, moves slowly through the roots, its shell as wide as a small boat. It is a slow and deliberate creature, its movements graceful despite its size. It feeds on the succulent underwater plants, its beak making a soft, snapping sound as it grazes in the moonlight. The turtle surfaces for a breath of air, its head emerging from the water with a soft splash. It exhales a long, misty breath that catches the light before disappearing into the night. Its eyes are dark and ancient, reflecting a wisdom that can only be gained through the passage of countless seasons. You watch as it sinks, back beneath the surface, a silent shadow returning to the depths. The water closes over its shell, leaving only a few fading ripples to mark its presence. The world returns to its quiet and peaceful state as you continue your journey through the wetlands. To the west, the horizon is dominated by the rising peaks of the Andes. They are young mountains, still growing, their jagged silhouettes cutting into the starry sky. You can feel the energy of the earth pushing the stone upward, a slow and unstoppable force that is reshaping the entire continent. The mountains are the source of the water that flows through this land, the lifeblood of the Purussaurus system. You can hear the distant, muffled sound of a rockfall, a reminder of the constant change that defines this prehistoric world. Near the shore, a group of Astropotherium have gathered to drink. They are strange and wonderful creatures, with long, flexible snouts and tusks that curve downward. They move with a heavy, deliberate gait, their feet sinking into the soft, mineral-rich mud. You can hear the sound of their drinking, a rhythmic sucking noise that echoes across the quiet water. They are peaceful giants, their presence a testament to the diversity of life that flourished in the Miocene Amazon. The scent of their wet fur and the damp earth fills the air, a warm and comforting smell. One of the creatures raises its head, its trunk-like snout sniffing the air. It senses your presence, but it does not feel any fear. In this world, at this hour, there is a truce between all living things, a shared moment of peace and tranquility. The Astropotherium returns to its drinking, its tail flicking to ward off the nocturnal insects. You feel a sense of connection to these ancient beings, a shared existence in the vast and timeless landscape. The water carries you slowly away as the group fades into the darkness of the shoreline. As the current leads you into a wider channel, the water becomes shallower and the bottom is covered with a fine white sand. You can see the ripples on the floor of the river carved by the movement of the water. Small, bioluminescent organisms glow in the sand, creating a carpet of tiny blue stars beneath your feet. It is as if the galaxy has been mirrored on the bed of the river, a celestial path that guides you through the night. The light is soft and ethereal, casting a gentle glow on the surrounding water. In the shallows, a Purussaurus, a strange duck-billed caiman, is feeding. It moves its wide, flat snout through the water, filtering out small fish and crustaceans. It is a specialized feeder, a gentle giant among the more aggressive predators of the basin. You can hear the soft splashing sound of its snout breaking the surface, a rhythmic and soothing noise. The creature is oblivious to your presence, focused entirely on its nightly meal. Its body is long and slender, moving with a serpentine grace through the shallow water. Above you, the canopy of palms and ferns is alive with the sound of the wind. The leaves rustle and sway, creating a shifting pattern of light and shadow on the water. You can hear the distant call of a night bird, a lonely, haunting sound that carries for miles across the wetlands. It is a song of the wilderness, a melody that has been sung for millions of years. The air is thick with the scent of pollen and damp earth, a heady mix that makes you feel as if you are breathing the essence of the forest. On a fallen log, a family of Phoberomes, giant rodents, are huddling together. They are the size of small bears, their fur thick and coarse. They are social creatures, their soft chirps and whistles a constant background noise in the night. You can see their dark eyes reflecting the moonlight as they watch the world go by. They are vulnerable to the predators of the night, and so they stay close together for warmth and protection. The sight of them, so small and yet so large, is a reminder of the unique and often surprising forms that life can take. As you drift, the sound of the water changes. The slow, steady flow of the bay gives way to a more turbulent and energetic current. You are entering a region of rapids and small falls where the water is forced through narrow passages of stone. The sound is a low, constant roar, a powerful and grounding noise that vibrates in your chest. You can feel the spray of the water on your face, a cool and refreshing mist that wakes your senses. The world is more dynamic here, a place of movement and energy. Despite the power of the water, you feel safe and secure. The current is your guide, and it knows the way through the rocks and the foam. You watch as the water crashes against the stones, creating white, frothy bubbles that glow in the moonlight. It is a beautiful and primal sight, a display of the raw power of nature. You feel a sense of exhilaration, a connection to the wild and untamed spirit of the ancient Amazon. The journey is no longer just a drift, but a purposeful movement toward the heart of the basin. Beyond the rapids, the river opens up once again into a vast and tranquil lagoon. The water here is as still as a mirror, reflecting the stars and the moon with perfect clarity. You can see the entire celestial dome stretched out above and below you, a sense of infinite space that is both humbling and awe-inspiring. The air is silent, save for the soft, distant sound of the waterfall you have just passed. It is a place of deep and profound peace, a sanctuary in the heart of the prehistoric wilderness. In the center of the lagoon, a small island rises from the water. It is covered in a thick growth of giant horsetails and tree ferns, their silhouettes dark against the sky. You can hear the sound of a small stream trickling down the side of the island, a delicate musical noise that adds to the tranquility of the scene. The island is a haven for life, a small, self-contained world that exists in the middle of the vast lagoon. You feel a desire to land there to explore its secrets, but the current leads you onward. As you move away from the island, you notice a change in the light. The deep indigo blue of the night is beginning to soften into a pale silvery grey. The first hints of dawn are appearing on the eastern horizon, a subtle shift that signals the coming of a new day. The stars are beginning to fade, their light being swallowed by the growing radiance of the sun. You feel a sense of transition, a movement from the world of dreams to the world of reality. The creatures of the night are beginning to retreat to their hidden dens and burrows. The Purussaurus on its ledge stirs slightly, its massive tail twitching in its sleep. The Astropotherium have finished their drinking and are moving back into the safety of the forest. The world is preparing for the arrival of the day, a transition that has occurred every morning for millions of years. You feel a sense of gratitude for having witnessed the secrets of the night in this vanished world. The mist begins to thicken, once again, a white veil that rolls across the surface of the lagoon. It is a soft and gentle mist that wraps around you like a warm blanket. You can no longer see the shore, or the mountains, or the stars. You are alone in a world of white, a place of silence and peace. The only sound is the rhythmic lapping of the water against your boat, a sound that is as steady as a heartbeat. You feel the weight of your body pressing down into the soft cushions of your vessel. Your limbs are heavy and relaxed, your mind quiet and still. The journey is nearly over for this night, but the memories of the ancient Amazon will stay with you forever. You are drifting toward a deeper rest, a sleep that is as old and as profound as the earth itself. The water continues to flow, carrying you onward into the heart of the great delta, where the river meets the sea and the secrets of the mountains are finally laid to rest in the deep blue silence of the ocean floor. The water beneath your vessel begins to change, its clarity giving way to a deep, opaque amber. You have reached the margins of the great inland sea, where the freshwater rivers of the Miocene meet the encroaching tides from the north. The scent of the air has shifted, carrying the sharp metallic tang of salt and the heavy sweet aroma of decaying mangroves. It is a world caught between states, neither fully land nor fully ocean, a shifting landscape of silt and shadow. As the pale silver light of the early morning filters through the mist, you find yourself drifting through a forest of stilt-rooted trees. These are the ancient maritime sentinels, their tangled limbs reaching down into the brackish depths, like the fingers of a giant. The water is still here, sheltered from the wind by the dense canopy of waxy green leaves. You can hear the soft, rhythmic clicking of small crustaceans hidden among the roots, a delicate percussive sound that echoes across the surface. In the distance, a low guttural rumble vibrates through the air, felt more in your chest than heard with your ears. It is the call of a Purussaurus, a massive, flat-headed caiman resting on a nearby mudflat. This creature, nearly 40 feet in length, possesses a snout as wide and flat as a shovel designed to sift through the soft lake bottom for tiny prey. It remains motionless, a living monument of the Miocene wetlands, its dark pebbled skin glistening with the morning dew. Your boat glides over a submerged sandbar, where the water is barely a few feet deep. Below you, you see the swaying forms of seagrasses, their long ribbon-like blades dancing in the slow tidal pull. A group of small primitive river dolphins, ancestors of the modern pink dolphin, weave through the grass, their pale bodies appearing like ghosts in the murky green light. They move with a fluid, effortless grace, their soft whistles rising like bubbles to the surface. To your left, the bank rises into a gentle slope, covered in a carpet of thick, succulent ferns. A pair of Granostrapatherium, massive trunked mammals resembling a cross between an elephant and a tapir, stand knee-deep in the mud. They use their short, muscular trunks to strip the salty leaves from the low-hanging branches, their chewing a slow and rhythmic sound in the quiet morning. They acknowledge your presence with a brief, indifferent glance before returning to their feast. As the mist begins to lift, the true scale of the delta reveals itself. The horizon is an endless line of shimmering silver, where the sky and the water become one. The sun, a pale golden disk, hangs low in the east, casting long dancing reflections across the ripples. You feel the vastness of this ancient world, a space that has existed for 10 million years, indifferent to the passage of time. Further out, where the water deepens and turns a darker blue, you spot the long, narrow snout of a Purussaurus. This giant cariole, the largest of its kind to ever live, is a master of the estuaries. It floats with only its eyes and nostrils above the waterline, a silent predator waiting for the schools of fish that migrate with the tides. Its body, over 30 feet long, is a masterpiece of evolutionary design, perfectly adapted for this brackish realm. The air grows warmer as the sun climbs higher, and the humidity wraps around you like a soft, damp cloak. You hear the distant, haunting cry of a prehistoric bird, a sound that carries for miles over the open water. It is a lonely, melodic call, a reminder of the isolation of this vanished wilderness. The world here is slow and deliberate, governed by the cycles of the moon and the steady pulse of the sea. You pass a cluster of floating islands, mats of vegetation and fallen logs that have drifted down from the high forests. These islands are miniature ecosystems teeming with life, from small lizards to emerald green beetles that glitter like jewels in the sunlight. They drift aimlessly, carried by the currents toward the open ocean, a testament to the constant shifting nature of the Pebas system. The current, now stronger and more purposeful, guides you into a narrow channel between two limestone cliffs. The walls are draped in hanging vines and mosses, their vibrant greens contrasting with the grey, weathered stone. The water here is cool and shaded, a sanctuary from the growing heat of the day. You can hear the sound of water dripping from the heights, a steady crystalline tinkle that joins the chorus of the delta. On a high ledge, a colony of early primates, small and agile, leap between the branches of a fruiting fig tree. Their chattering is a bright, energetic sound, a stark contrast to the heavy silence of the reptiles below. They are the observers of this world, their keen eyes watching the movements of the great creatures that roam the riverbanks. You feel a sense of kinship with these distant relatives, a connection that spans the ages. The channel opens into a wide, shallow bay where the water is so clear you can see the ripples in the sand on the bottom. Schools of lungfish, their bodies long and eel-like, glide through the shallows, occasionally rising to the surface to take a gulp of air. They are survivors, relics of an even older time, who have found a home in the stable, warm waters of the Miocene Amazon. In the center of the bay, a solitary volcanic spire rises from the water, its dark, jagged peak, a remnant of the tectonic forces that shaped this continent. It is a nesting site for thousands of aquatic birds, their white wings flashing in the sun as they wheel and dive for fish. The sound of their wings is like the rustle of dry leaves, a constant flickering noise that fills the air. You feel a deep sense of calm as you drift through this sun-drenched landscape. The worries of the modern world are millions of years away, replaced by the simple, timeless rhythms of the earth. Your breath slows in time with the gentle lapping of the waves, and your mind becomes as still as the surface of the bay. You are a part of this ancient cycle, a witness to the majesty of deep time. The boat carries you toward a dense, tangled thicket of giant reeds, their golden plumes swaying in the breeze. As you enter the reeds, the world outside disappears, replaced by a maze of green and gold. The sunlight filters through the stalks, creating a mosaic of light and shadow that dances across your skin. It is a secret world, a hidden passage that leads deeper into the heart of the delta. You hear the soft, rhythmic splash of a large animal moving through the reeds nearby. It is a trigodon, a heavily built, rhinoceros-like herbivore with a single blunt horn on its forehead. It moves slowly, its massive feet sinking into the soft mud as it searches for the tender shoots of the reed plants. Its presence is a reminder of the diversity of life that flourished in this prehistoric paradise. The reeds eventually thin, revealing a wide, tranquil lagoon, surrounded by a ring of ancient, towering palms. The water here is a deep sapphire blue, reflecting the cloudless sky above. It is a place of perfect stillness, a sanctuary within a sanctuary. You feel a desire to linger here, to let the peace of the lagoon wash over you like a gentle tide. As you drift toward the center of the lagoon, you notice a group of giant tortoises resting on a sandy spit. They are ancient creatures, their shells worn smooth by the passage of decades, their movements slow and deliberate. They seem to embody the very essence of the Miocene, a time of giants and of slow, unhurried growth. The sun begins its slow descent toward the western horizon, casting a warm orange glow over the landscape. The shadows of the palms stretch long and thin across the water, and the air begins to cool. You feel the transition from day to evening, a subtle shift that signals the end of another day in this vanished world. The lagoon begins to narrow once more as the current draws you toward a hidden archway formed by the intertwining branches of two massive ancient trees. Beyond the arch, the water flows into a dark, mysterious tunnel where the secrets of the deep forest await. You feel a sense of anticipation, a readiness to discover what lies in the shadows ahead as the journey continues through the heart of the ancient Amazon. The boat glides beneath the heavy arching limbs of the ancient forest, leaving the open lagoon behind. The transition into the deep shade is immediate and profound as the temperature drops and the air becomes thick with the scent of damp earth and decaying wood. The sunlight, no longer a golden flood, now reaches you in scattered flickering needles of light that pierce the emerald canopy high above. You are entering the heart of the Pebas system, a world of flooded forests and hidden waterways where the line between land and water is forever blurred. The water beneath you has changed from a sapphire blue to a deep tea-colored brown stained by the tannins of 1,000 fallen leaves. It is a mirror of the world above, reflecting the intricate, twisted forms of the giant buttressed roots that dip into the current. Along the banks, the vegetation is a riot of primordial forms, with giant ferns and broad-leaved flowering plants competing for every inch of space. You see the massive silvery trunks of ancient legume trees, their branches draped in thick woody vines that hang like the ropes of a forgotten mountain pass. There is a sense of profound age here, as if the forest has been breathing in this same rhythmic way for 10 million years. The silence of the deep forest is not a lack of sound, but a tapestry of subtle rhythmic noises. You hear the soft, persistent drip of condensation falling from the leaves onto the water and the distant haunting call of a primitive bird echoing through the trees. It is a world that feels both ancient and alive, a place where time seems to move with the slow, deliberate pace of the rising mountain ranges. To your left, a massive fallen log breaks the surface of the dark water, its bark covered in a thick carpet of emerald moss. Resting upon it is a Griposuchus, a giant, long-snouted crocodilian, its slender jaws resting peacefully on the wood. It is nearly 30 feet in length, its body a masterpiece of prehistoric engineering, perfectly adapted for the slow-moving waters of the Miocene. The creature does not move as you pass, its golden eyes, half closed, in a state of quiet reptilian contemplation. It is a reminder that in this world the giants are not always the most active, but often the most patient. You feel a sense of reverence for this ancient predator, a living relic of a time when the rivers belonged to the long-snouted kings. Further along, the water widens into a small, secluded cove, where the forest opens up to reveal a stand of giant aquatic grasses. Here, a Granostrapitherium, a bizarre and magnificent herbivore, stands knee-deep in the mud, its short, trunk-like snout pulling at the tender water plants. It is a creature of strange proportions, with a heavy, barrel-shaped body and tusks that curve gently from its mouth. The animal moves with a slow, swaying gait, its massive weight, supported by sturdy pillar-like legs that leave deep, rhythmic impressions in the soft riverbed. You watch as it lifts its head, water dripping from its snout, its calm, dark eyes, meeting yours for a fleeting, silent moment. There is no fear in its gaze, only the quiet curiosity of a creature that has known only peace in this lush, prehistoric Eden. The air grows cooler as the sun sinks lower behind the distant rising peaks of the young Andes Mountains. You can see them through a gap in the trees, a jagged purple silhouette against the darkening western sky. Their growth is changing, the very shape of the continent, tilting the land and forcing the rivers to find new paths to the sea. You feel the subtle shift in the current as the water begins to flow with a new, quiet purpose drawn toward the east. It is the beginning of a transformation that will, over millions of years, turn this vast inland sea into the greatest river system on Earth. But for now, it remains a world of still waters and hidden forest paths. High in the canopy, a group of small Stertonia monkeys move with effortless grace, their long, prehensile tails gripping the branches as they leap through the air. They are the ancestors of the howler monkeys, their social chatter a constant melodic backdrop to the forest's evening song. You watch their playful silhouettes against the fading light, a reminder of the vibrant life that fills every layer of this ancient habitat. The water beneath the boat is now so clear that you can see the schools of giant catfish drifting through the submerged roots. They are massive creatures, some as long as a man, their whiskers, sensing the vibrations of the water as they search for food in the deepening shadows. Their movements are fluid and ghost-like as they vanish into the dark recesses of the underwater forest. You pass a bank of red clay where the earth has been carved by the seasonal floods into miniature canyons and peaks. On a flat, sandy ledge, a phoberomys, a rodent, the size of a small buffalo, sits on its haunches, grooming its thick brown fur with its front paws. It is a gentle giant of the undergrowth, its presence a testament to the incredible diversity of the Miocene fauna. The creature pauses its grooming to sniff the air, its large, sensitive nose twitching as it catches the scent of the approaching evening. It seems content in its solitary existence, a quiet inhabitant of a world that provides everything it needs. You feel a sense of kinship with this peaceful giant as you drift slowly past its riverside home. As the light fades, the forest begins to glow with a soft ethereal light as bioluminescent fungi on the fallen trees begin to shine. They cast a pale greenish hue over the moss and the water, creating a world of dreamlike beauty that feels separate from the light of day. It is a secret illumination, a gift for those who remain awake in the deepening twilight. The first stars begin to appear in the narrow strip of sky visible between the treetops, their light reflected in the obsidian water below. You feel the world contracting, the vast distances of the day replaced by the intimate embrace of the night. Your breath becomes a soft, rhythmic whisper in the cool evening air. A group of Hoatzin-like birds nestle together on a low-hanging branch, their strange primitive crests silhouetted against the starlight. They make a soft huffing sound as they settle in for the night, their movements slow and heavy with sleep. You feel the weight of the day lifting, replaced by a deep and lasting sense of tranquility. The boat enters a narrow canyon of red clay, the walls rising steeply on either side, their surfaces smooth and cool to the touch. The sound of the water becomes a low, resonant hum echoing through the narrow passage, like the breath of the earth itself. You are moving through the very bones of the continent, a witness to the slow geological heart of the world. You emerge from the canyon into a wide, starlit lake, the water as still as a sheet of black glass. The forest surrounds the lake like a dark, silent wall, its secrets tucked away beneath the velvet canopy of the night. You feel a sense of arrival, as if you have reached the very center of this ancient and vanished world. The stars reflect in the obsidian water as the forest prepares for the deep silence of the midnight hour. The lake is an ocean of ink, a vast, unmoving mirror that holds the entire weight of the starlit sky. You drift across this silent expanse, the water barely rippling against the sides of your slow-moving vessel. The air is cool and thick with the scent of wet earth and the faint sweet musk of the surrounding marshes. Every breath feels heavy and grounding as you sink deeper into the stillness of the Miocene night. Beneath the surface of the obsidian water, giants are resting. You can feel the presence of the Purussaurus, the massive caiman of this ancient world, lying motionless on the lake floor. Its great armored body is a mountain of scales and muscle settled in the soft silt of the Pebas system. It does not need to move, for it is the master of this watery realm, a silent sentinel of the deep. On the distant shore, the silhouette of a stupendemes, a turtle the size of a small car, emerges from the shadows. Its shell is a broad weathered shield, catching the faint silver light of the moon as it moves with surprising grace toward the water. The sound of its heavy plastron scraping against the wet sand is a low, rhythmic pulse that blends with the breathing of the forest. It is a creature of slow and ancient habits, unhurried by the passage of time. A light mist begins to rise from the lake, curling in soft white tendrils across the dark water. It obscures the horizon, making the lake feel like a world without end, a place where the sky and the earth are one. You feel as though you're floating in a dream, suspended in the quiet heart of a continent that is still finding its shape. The silence is profound, broken only by the occasional soft splash of a fish jumping in the distance. To your left, a stand of Mauricia palms rises, like tall, slender ghosts against the starry backdrop. Their fronds are still and heavy with the dampness of the night, their long shadows reaching out across the silvered surface of the lake. You pass close to the shore, where the water is shallow and clear, revealing the tangled roots of the aquatic plants. Small, prehistoric shrimp dart among the stems, their tiny bodies glowing with a faint phosphorescent light. You notice a group of Astropotherium, strange and wondrous mammals with short trunks and tusks, standing at the edge of a marshy inlet. They are tall and slender, their bodies built for wading through the soft mud of the wetlands. One of them lifts its head, its trunk curling to sniff the cool night air before returning to its quiet grazing. Their movements are slow and deliberate, a peaceful dance in the moonlight. The water becomes shallower as you enter a field of giant water lilies, their pads large enough to support a resting bird. The flowers are closed for the night, their pale petals tucked tightly together like sleeping spirits. You can hear the soft gurgle of water moving beneath the pads, a secret language of the lake that only the night can hear. The scent of the lilies is delicate and floral, a fleeting sweetness in the humid air. In the distance, the low, rumbling call of a Granastrapotherium echoes across the water, a sound so deep it feels like a vibration in your very chest. It is a call of territory and belonging, a reminder that this world is alive even in its deepest slumber. The sound fades into the mist, leaving behind a silence that feels even more profound than before. You are a witness to the ancient rhythms of life and the enduring peace of the earth. You drift past a sandbar where a group of small litoptons, gazelle-like creatures with 3 toes, are huddled together for warmth. Their large, dark eyes reflect the starlight as they watch you pass, their bodies tense yet still. They are the delicate inhabitants of this rugged landscape, their survival a testament to the intricate balance of the Miocene ecosystem. You feel a sense of protection for these small and graceful beings. The stars above are brilliant and cold, their light filtered through the thin atmosphere of the ancient world. You can see the constellations of the Southern Cross hanging low in the sky, a familiar guide in an unfamiliar time. The vastness of the universe feels close tonight, as if the lake is a portal to the very stars themselves. You are small yet connected to the infinite cycles of the cosmos. A gentle breeze begins to blow, carrying with it the sound of rustling grasses from the nearby plains. It is a dry, whispering sound, a contrast to the wet silence of the lake and the marshes. You can smell the dust and the sun-baked earth of the interior, a reminder of the vast and varied landscapes that lie beyond the water's edge. The continent is a tapestry of life woven from the threads of water and earth. You enter a narrow channel where the water is dark and still, the trees on either side forming a natural tunnel. The canopy above is a dense black web that shuts out the starlight, leaving you in a world of soft velvety darkness. The air is cooler here, and the sound of your breathing is the only thing you can hear. It is a place of deep introspection, a sanctuary within the sanctuary. On a low branch, a small monkey, a relative of the modern howler, is curled in a tight ball, its tail wrapped securely around its body. It is deep in sleep, its chest rising and falling in a slow, rhythmic cadence that matches your own. The world is at rest, and you are part of its quiet slumber, a traveler in the land of dreams. You feel a profound sense of peace as you move through the darkness. The channel opens into a small, secluded lagoon, where the water is bioluminescent, glowing with a soft blue light whenever it is disturbed. Your vessel leaves a trail of liquid stars in its wake, a beautiful and fleeting reminder of your journey. The lagoon is a hidden gem, a secret garden of light in the heart of the Miocene night. You linger here for a moment, savoring the ethereal beauty of the scene. You notice the bones of a massive tree, half submerged in the water, its bark long gone, leaving behind a smooth white skeleton. It is a monument to the power of the river and the passage of the seasons, a silent witness to the changing face of the continent. A small owl perches on one of the branches, its yellow eyes glowing in the dark as it watches for prey. It is a patient hunter, a part of the intricate web of life. The sound of falling water grows louder as you approach a small rocky cascade where the lagoon drains into a lower basin. The water tumbles over the stones in a silver curtain, creating a soft white noise that is incredibly soothing. The air is filled with a fine, cool spray that feels like a gentle caress on your skin. You feel the last vestiges of tension melting away, replaced by a deep and lasting tranquility. You navigate the cascade with ease, the vessel sliding smoothly into the basin below, where the water is once again calm and still. The basin is surrounded by tall, jagged rocks, their surfaces covered in moss and ferns that drip with the moisture of the spray. It is a hidden world, a place of moss and stone, and the constant song of the water. You feel as though you have discovered a secret chamber in the heart of the earth. A group of giant catfish, some as long as 6 feet, swim slowly beneath the surface, their whiskers trailing in the current. They are the scavengers of the deep, the quiet cleaners of the lake and the river, their presence essential to the health of the ecosystem. Their movements are fluid and ghost-like as they vanish into the dark recesses of the underwater world. You feel a sense of respect for these humble and hard-working creatures. The moon begins to set, its light fading as it sinks toward the horizon, leaving the world in the soft grey light of the pre-dawn hour. The stars are still bright, but the sky is beginning to pale, in the east a hint of the day to come. You feel a sense of completion, as if you have traveled through the very heart of the night and emerged on the other side. The world is waking, but the peace of the night remains within you. You drift toward a wide, sandy beach where the water is shallow and the sand is cool and white under the fading starlight. The forest stands at the edge of the beach, a dark, silent wall that is beginning to soften in the early light. You feel a sense of arrival, a feeling that you have found a place of rest and renewal in this ancient and vanished world. The water laps gently against the shore as the first hints of dawn begin to touch the distant horizon. The vessel touches the shore with a soft scraping sound that vibrates through the wood and into your bones. You step onto the sand, which is cool and damp against your feet, holding the memory of the night air like a secret. The sky is a deep indigo now, a shade that feels heavy and full of quiet potential. The stars are blinking out, one by one, as if the universe is slowly closing its eyes for a short slumber. You stand at the edge of the Great Pebas system, a world of endless water and shifting mud that stretches toward the horizon. The air smells of salt and silt, and the sweet decay of ancient vegetation rising from the marsh. It is a scent that is both old and new, a reminder of the cycle of life that never truly ends. You look out over the water, which is as smooth as a sheet of glass, reflecting the pale light of the coming day. A massive shape begins to emerge from the shallows, its back covered in thick algae, like a floating island of stone. It is a giant turtle, a member of the species known as stupendemes, its shell reaching more than 8 feet in length. It moves with a slow and ancient grace, its flippers stirring the silt into clouds of gold beneath the surface. You watch as it draws a long, slow breath, its prehistoric nostrils clearing the water with a soft hiss. The turtle is a silent guardian of these wetlands, a creature that has seen the mountains rise and the rivers change their course. It ignores your presence, focused only on the rhythm of the tide and the warmth of the approaching sun. You feel a sense of profound peace in its company, a connection to a time when the world was vast and wild. The water lapping at the turtle's shell creates a melodic rhythm that lulls you into a deeper state of relaxation. Further along the bank, a group of strange ungulates known as Granastrapotherium are gathered in the mist to drink. They are massive creatures with short trunks and powerful limbs, their bodies built for life in the mud and the water. They move with a heavy, deliberate gait, their footsteps muffled by the soft earth and the thick carpet of moss. You watch as they use their trunks to pull at the succulent water lilies, their chewing a steady, rhythmic sound in the quiet. These are the giants of the Miocene, the architects of the landscape, whose presence shapes the very world around them. They are calm and social, their low rumbles vibrating through the air like the sound of distant thunder. You feel a sense of safety in their shadow, as if their massive forms are a shield against the uncertainties of the wild. The mist swirls around their legs, creating a dreamlike scene that feels far removed from the modern world. As the light grows stronger, you begin to see the true scale of the Purussaurus system, a labyrinth of lakes and rivers and swamps. It is an inland sea, a watery kingdom that covers the heart of the continent, long before the rainforest was born. The water is tea-colored and deep-filled with the mysteries of a world that is constantly reinventing itself. You feel like a traveler in a lost paradise, a witness to a moment in time that will never be repeated. A giant caiman, a Purussaurus, rests on a nearby mud bank, its body nearly 40 feet long and thick with muscle. It is the apex predator of this world, a creature of immense power and terrifying beauty, lying still in the dawn. Its golden eyes are half closed, watching the world with a cold and calculating intelligence that has survived for millions of years. You feel a shiver of awe as you realize the sheer scale of this ancient reptile, a true king of the marsh. The Purussaurus does not move, its breathing slow and steady, its scaly skin glistening with the moisture of the morning fog. It is a part of the landscape as much as the trees and the water, a silent witness to the passage of the ages. You feel a sense of respect for this ancient hunter, a creature that embodies the raw and untamed spirit of the prehistoric world. The sound of the water flowing past the mud bank is a soothing backdrop to the sight of the sleeping giant. In the trees above, a group of early primates, small and agile, are beginning to wake, their chirps and whistles filling the air. They leap from branch to branch, their movements fluid and effortless as they search for fruit and insects in the canopy. They are the ancestors of the monkeys that will one day fill the rainforest, a glimpse into the future of this changing land. You watch their playful antics with a smile, feeling a sense of joy in the simple beauty of their lives. The forest is a riot of green and brown, filled with giant ferns and palms and trees that reach toward the sky. The air is thick with the scent of pollen and damp earth, a heavy and intoxicating perfume that fills your lungs. You feel as if you are breathing in the very essence of the earth, a connection to the primal forces that drive the world. The sound of the wind rustling the leaves is a gentle lullaby that draws you deeper into the dream. A long-snouted crocodile, a Purussaurus, glides through the reeds, its body slender and built for speed in the water. It is a specialist, a hunter of fish, its narrow jaws lined with sharp teeth that are perfect for grasping slippery prey. It moves with a ghost-like silence, its presence only betrayed by the slight ripple it leaves on the surface of the water. You watch as it vanishes into the shadows of the swamp, a master of concealment and surprise. The wetlands are a place of constant movement and quiet drama, where every creature has a role to play in the grand design. You feel a sense of wonder at the complexity of this ecosystem, a web of life that is both fragile and resilient. The light of the sun is beginning to touch the tops of the trees, turning the leaves to gold and emerald in the early morning. You feel a sense of renewal, as if the world is being born anew with every rising sun. You wander further into the marsh, the water reaching your knees, as you navigate the thick mats of floating vegetation. The ground beneath your feet is soft and yielding, a mixture of sand and peat that feels like a plush carpet. You pass by a stand of giant horsetails, their prehistoric forms reaching toward the sky like the pillars of an ancient temple. The air is cool and refreshing, a welcome contrast to the warmth of the rising sun on your back. A group of prehistoric birds resembling large storks are wading in the shallows, their long legs moving with a delicate precision. They probe the mud with their beaks, searching for snails and small crustaceans, their movements a graceful dance in the light. They are silent and focused, their feathers white and grey blending in with the mist and the water of the marsh. You feel a sense of tranquility as you watch them, a reminder of the simple elegance of the natural world. In the distance you can see the jagged peaks of the rising Andes, their summits hidden by a thick blanket of clouds. They are the young mountains whose growth is changing, the face of the continent diverting the rivers and creating this vast inland sea. You feel a sense of awe at the power of the earth, a force that can shape the world on such a monumental scale. The mountains are a silent backdrop to the life of the marsh, a reminder of the deep time that governs all things. A massive fallen log lies in your path, its surface covered in a thick layer of moss and delicate prehistoric flowers. It is a world in miniature, a habitat for countless insects and small creatures that thrive in the decay of the wood. You stop to admire the intricate patterns of the moss, its vibrant green a contrast to the dark and weathered bark of the tree. The scent of the flowers is sweet and delicate, a fleeting beauty in the heart of the wild. The water is filled with the sound of life, the splashing of fish, the calls of birds, and the low hum of insects in the air. It is a symphony of the wild, a music that has been playing for millions of years, a song of the earth itself. You feel as if you are a part of this music, a single note in the grand and eternal melody of the prehistoric world. The rhythm of the marsh is a soothing and steady beat that calms your mind and settles your spirit. You reach a wide delta where a slow-moving river empties into the Purussaurus Sea, its water thick with the silt of the mountains. The current is gentle and steady, carrying with it the seeds and the nutrients that sustain the life of the wetlands and the forest. You watch as the two waters meet, creating a swirling pattern of light and shadow on the surface of the great inland sea. It is a place of transition, a boundary between the river and the sea, a world that is always in flux. The sun continues its slow ascent, casting long amber shadows across the vast and watery kingdom as the mist begins to lift. The world is fully awake now, a vibrant and bustling place, filled with the energy and the beauty of the Miocene era. You feel a sense of gratitude for this journey, a chance to witness the wonder of a vanished world before it fades into the light. The sun continues its slow ascent, casting long amber shadows across the vast and watery kingdom. The sun, now high in the pale blue sky, casts a heavy golden heat over the wide expanse of the Purussaurus Sea. The water is still and thick with the life of the Miocene era, reflecting the brilliant light like a sheet of polished silver. You feel the warmth on your skin, a gentle and persistent weight that slows your movements and settles your mind. The air is heavy, with the scent of damp earth and the sweet musk of the surrounding wetlands, a fragrance that has existed for millions of years. Every breath you take is slow and deep, drawing in the humid essence of this ancient world. To your left, a massive mound of vegetation drifts slowly, with the current a floating island of grass and ferns. These are the floating meadows of the ancient Amazon, a unique and shifting habitat that provides shelter for a multitude of small creatures. You see the tiny ripples created by the movement of frogs and insects hidden within the tangled roots and stems. The meadows are a vibrant green, a contrast to the deep blue of the water and the pale gold of the midday sun. They move with a quiet grace, a reminder of the constant and gentle flux of the natural world. In the distance, the water breaks as a group of giant turtles known as stupendemies surface to breathe. Their shells are vast and rugged, like ancient stones carved by the hands of time itself. They move with a slow and deliberate pace, their heavy limbs paddling through the warm and silted water. You watch as they bask in the sunlight, their ancient eyes blinking in the brightness of the day. They are the silent giants of the Pebas system, a testament to the enduring strength of life in this watery realm. As the afternoon progresses, the heat begins to soften, and the light takes on a deeper, more honeyed hue. The calls of the birds in the distant trees grow more frequent, a melodic chorus that echoes across the water. You hear the high-pitched whistle of an early Miocene, its feathers catching the light as it moves through the branches of a fruiting palm. The sound is a part of the ancient rhythm of the day, a song that has been sung for countless generations. You feel a sense of peace as you listen to the music of the wild, a harmony that transcends the passage of time. Along the muddy banks of a nearby inlet, a group of strange tusked mammals called Astrapatherium gather to drink. They are large and heavy-set, with short trunks and formidable tusks that they use to pull aquatic plants from the mud. Their movements are slow and cautious as they navigate the slippery slope, their thick hides glistening in the afternoon light. You watch as they interact with one another, a gentle nuzzle or a quiet grunt, a reminder of the social bonds that exist even in the most ancient of times. They are the strange and wonderful inhabitants of a world that is both alien and familiar. The water near the shore is clear and shallow, allowing you to see the intricate patterns of the riverbed below. You see the fossils of ancient shells and the skeletons of fish that lived and died millions of years ago, preserved in the silt. It is a graveyard of the past, a silent record of the life that has shaped this continent over the eons. You feel a sense of reverence as you look upon these ancient remains, a connection to the long and unbroken chain of existence. The earth holds its secrets close, a treasury of stories waiting to be told. As the sun begins its slow descent toward the horizon, the sky transforms into a canvas of pink, orange, and deep violet. The reflection on the water is a breathtaking display of color, a shimmering path that leads toward the edge of the world. You feel a sense of quiet wonder as you watch the transition from day to night, a daily miracle that has occurred for billions of years. The world is settling once again, the energy of the day giving way to the stillness of the evening. The shadows grow, long and soft, blurring the lines between the land and the sea. In the fading light you see the silhouette of a massive Purussaurus, its long body gliding silently through the water. It is the apex predator of this world, a giant caiman that commands respect and awe from all who encounter it. Its movements are effortless and fluid, a master of its environment as it hunts in the twilight hours. You feel a sense of humility in the presence of such a powerful creature, a reminder of the raw and untamed beauty of the prehistoric wild. The Purussaurus is a part of the ancient balance, a guardian of the Purussaurus Sea. The air grows cooler now, a refreshing breeze blowing in from the distant Andes, carrying the scent of rain and mountain air. You hear the rustle of the palm fronds and the soft lapping of the water against the shore, a soothing sound that lulls you into a state of deep relaxation. The world is becoming a place of shadows and whispers, a realm where the imagination can wander through the corridors of time. You feel as if you are drifting on a sea of memories, a traveler in the vast and eternal landscape of the past. One by one the stars begin to appear in the darkening sky, their light faint and distant, yet remarkably clear. They are the same stars that have looked down upon this world for millions of years, a constant presence in a world of change. You look up at the constellations and feel a sense of belonging, a part of the grand and mysterious universe that surrounds us. The night is a time for reflection and for rest, a chance to let go of the worries of the present and embrace the peace of the past. In the distance you can hear the low rumble of thunder, a reminder of the storms that frequently sweep across this tropical land. The lightning flickers on the horizon, a brief and brilliant flash that illuminates the clouds and the distant peaks of the mountains. It is a powerful and primal display of nature's energy, a force that both creates and destroys. You feel a sense of safety in your quiet observation, a witness to the eternal cycles of the earth. The storm is a part of the rhythm of life, a necessary and life-giving event. The Purussaurus Sea is now a vast and dark expanse, its surface broken only by the occasional ripple of a nocturnal creature. You see the bioluminescent glow of certain insects and fish, their light like tiny emerald stars dancing in the darkness. It is a magical and ethereal sight, a reminder of the hidden wonders that exist in the natural world. You feel a sense of enchantment as you watch the display, a moment of pure and unadulterated beauty. The night is full of surprises for those who are willing to look. You find a comfortable spot on the shore where the sand is soft and warm and the sound of the water is a gentle lullaby. You close your eyes and listen to the symphony of the night, the chirping of crickets, the croaking of frogs, and the distant calls of owls. It is a peaceful and comforting sound, a reminder that you are not alone in this ancient world. You feel your body becoming heavy and relaxed as you sink into the embrace of the earth. The journey is coming to an end, but the memories will remain with you forever. As you drift towards sleep, you think about the future of this land and the changes that will eventually lead to the birth of the modern Amazon rainforest. The Purussaurus Sea will slowly drain away. The mountains will continue to rise and the rivers will carve new paths through the landscape. The strange and wonderful creatures you have seen will disappear, replaced by new and equally fascinating forms of life. It is a story of constant evolution, a journey that never truly ends. You feel a sense of gratitude for having been a part of it, even for a brief and fleeting moment. The world of the Miocene is now a quiet and shadowy place, a landscape of dreams and memories. The light of the moon casts a silver glow over the water and the trees, creating a scene of timeless beauty. You feel a sense of profound peace as you surrender to the darkness and the silence of the night. The prehistoric world is at rest, and so are you, a traveler who has found a home in the heart of deep time. The stars continue to shine their light, a beacon in the vast and eternal night. The air is still and the water is calm, a perfect mirror of the heavens above. You are a part of this stillness, a single heartbeat in the pulse of the universe. The journey has been long and full of wonder, a chance to see the world through the eyes of the past. You feel a sense of completion, a quiet satisfaction in the knowledge that you have witnessed something truly extraordinary. The ancient Amazon is now a part of you, a story that you will carry in your heart forever. As the final moments of the night fade into the first light of dawn, you feel a sense of renewal and hope. The cycle of life continues, a never-ending dance of creation and transformation. You are a part of this cycle, a link in the chain of existence that stretches back to the very beginning of time. The prehistoric world is a reminder of the resilience and the beauty of life, a testament to the power of the earth to endure. You feel a sense of awe as you look toward the future, a world that is still waiting to be discovered. The sun begins its slow ascent once again, casting its first golden rays across the horizon. The world is waking up. A new day is beginning, and the story continues. You feel a sense of peace as you watch the light return to the land, a reminder that even in the darkness there is always the promise of a new beginning. The ancient Amazon is a place of mystery and wonder, a world that will always hold a special place in your heart. You are a traveler in time, a witness to the beauty of the past and the promise of the future. The golden light of the morning fills the sky, and the world is once again a place of vibrant color and life. You feel a sense of joy as you embrace the new day, a chance to continue your journey through the vast and wonderful landscape of the earth. The prehistoric world is always there, a silent presence in the background of our lives, a reminder of the deep time that shapes us all. You feel a sense of connection to all things, a part of the grand and eternal story of life. The journey goes on, a never-ending exploration of the wonders of the world. As you walk into the light of the new day, you feel a sense of freedom and peace. The prehistoric world has given you a gift, a chance to see the beauty and the wonder of the natural world in all its glory. You carry this gift with you, a reminder of the importance of preserving and protecting the earth for future generations. The ancient Amazon is a place of inspiration and hope, a world that will always remind us of the power and the resilience of life. You are a part of this world, and this world is a part of you. Thank you for wandering through deep time with me tonight. Until next time on Forgotten Habitats, sleep well.